Howdy, hey. How you doing, baby? You good? You straight? You sure? I know that's right. Ever since Saweetie did that at that award show, that shit is so fitting for just about any occasion, okay? So tonight, why are we here? Who are we going to talk about? You already know, Papa Legba, because that's why you clicked on this video, right? Because of the title, right? All right, cool. We on the same page. So this is my Papa Legba altar. I usually do not have my altars in any pictures, videos, or anything because they're just that sacred to me. But I asked if it was okay. Plus, with the setup that I have going on right here, um, it just so happened to be where I'm at, and I just so happened to be talking about him, and he's in the video, right? So I was introduced to Papa Legba in 2017, I believe it was. Um, and if it wasn't 2017, then it was 2018. But I wholeheartedly believe that it was 2017 towards the end of the year. So in 2017, I was with my, these gnats because of this light. I was with my ex wife, or she was my then wife at the time. And we were going through a lot of ups and downs. We didn't know if we were going to continue to be with each other and work things out, or if we were just going to separate. And it was really toxic. And we were actually trying to make things work, but shit just wasn't feeling right. And we went into a situation where we were trying to expand. We were getting ready to move, or we were trying to move. We had expanded our family by her having a child. And the house that we were living in, we were like, okay, we need more space. Like, yeah, we got 3 bedrooms, we got 2 kids, each kid has a room, but we do not want to live in this area. We want to expand because we had business ventures that we were doing in the whole nine. So we were in the process of trying to get approved for money to buy a home. Unfortunately, we were unable to do that because I had a lot of things on my credit report that was hindering me from being able to even be a co-signer. Basically, I had to clear up all the shit that I had on my credit report, the negative stuff, in order for me to even be eligible to be a co-signer. Like, she was good. It was just me. But even though she was good, she wasn't good enough to be able to get everything on her own. She needed a co-signer. I just wasn't able to be the co-signer because of my credit, right? So, um, she pretty much left everything up to me. She kind of was just pissed off at me and was like, see, this is what I'm talking about. We can't even move forward in our life because of, what you allowed somebody else to do from your previous relationship. And now that's fucking us up. And she just really like went in on me for like 2 seconds, all of about 2 seconds. And it made me feel really bad. And it made me feel really bad because for two reasons. One, because yes, I had moved on and I was in a relationship now where I was trying to do things and this was hindering me. So that made me feel bad. And the fact that I hadn't taken care of it sooner. And it made me feel really bad that my partner wasn't even really trying to help me. She didn't offer me any advice. It was just, you need to handle this because we can't do anything until you handle this. So I felt really bad. And I was in the YouTube University world one night. I was up real late and I came across a video on how to fix my credit. And I watched it and everything. And I was like, okay, this is easy. I could do this shit. This ain't nothing. So I went ahead and did all those things to begin to fix my credit. And in the midst of that stuff happening, while on YouTube University yet again, I ran into, or I'm not going to say I ran into, but she was presented to me. She came to me. There was a video that popped up on my news feed that said, how to clear your debt. Matter of fact, no, I take it back. I take it back. This video popped up for me while I was looking for ways to get out of my debt, how to fix my credit report. So it didn't happen days later. It happened the same night. Um, I watched the video that I watched about fixing my credit like through the legal way and sending letters and all this stuff like that. And then I kept seeing this thing that said, fix your debt or erase your debt with 16 pennies. And I was like, how the hell am I supposed to erase my debt with 16 pennies? And the person's name who was there, their page, it was the Conjure Queen. And she's amazing. She's really good. She's really, really good. So I watched her video. And at this time, when I'm watching her video, I had just really started to seriously deep dive into spirituality and meditation. I was doing more, I was already doing yoga, but I was now doing more meditation, sitting with myself and just listening to my breath and just letting things come to me or whatever. Now, I didn't know things were coming to me like that, but man, all kinds of stuff was coming to me. And it was kind of scary because it was the first time that I had ever really opened myself up like that. And I was like, okay, I'm pretty much in this place of trying to go with the flow of things, but at the same time I was resisting because things were so new. So I'm watching this video and Conjure Queen comes on and she's talking about how you can erase your debt or pretty much eliminate your debt with 16 pennies. And the video was just her talking about how you need to go see Papa Legba at the crossroads. Now, she explained everything in the video as far as what to do. And if you want to watch her video, definitely go do that if you're interested. If my video has come into your life, then it might be because Papa is calling out to you and he wants you to answer the call. Okay. But even though with everything I'm about to share with you, I would advise you to go and watch her video so you can get a deeper understanding of what I'm talking about. Okay. So basically, what she was saying is you take 16 pennies and you go to the crossroads, and the 16 pennies are an offering to Papa Legba. You also need other things that are an offering to Papa Legba. Um, you need some rum. Um, but yeah, I'm trying not to get lost in my train of thought of like really explaining because I really rather you go and watch her video. So, anywho, um, you take those things, you go to see Papa Legba at midnight, and you make sure that whatever you are asking of him, you are doing it with the most purest of intentions at heart. And you make sure, definitely, definitely, definitely make sure that you are clear with your communication, okay? Because Papa Legba is a trickster. And it's not a fault of his that he is a trickster. That's just how he is. Papa Legba can be, he can come to you as innocent as a child or as wise as an old man. Okay? So it's either a young boy or an older man. He has a cane, he has a dog, he has dogs around him. And the cane isn't because of the fact that he's hurt. The cane is because of the simple fact that he walks in between two worlds. He walks amongst us as well as amongst the spiritual side. And that's why he walks with a cane. But before you are to deep dive into any other deity, ancestor, spirit guide, whatever you want to call it, right? But mostly deity. Before you go and speak to anybody else, you have to speak to Papa Legba first. Okay? First and foremost, because he is able to open the gates for you to be able to communicate because a lot of different spirits speak in different languages. And if you just go to them and talk to them and you didn't get permission from Papa Legba, they're not going to understand what the hell you're saying anyway. So, moving a little forward, let's go back. So, I listened to her video. After I watched her video, then I watched the video that I watched to fix my credit. And I was like, I'm going to do that. But for whatever reason, even though I had no idea who Papa Legba was before this video, no idea about deities and the different spirits and the different, I had no clue. But for whatever reason, I was like, I need to do this. I need to do this. It was just this strong feeling within myself that just kept telling me, you need to do this. And eventually, further on down the line, I realized that, you know, he was calling out to me, basically, trying to get me to see who I really am, right? So, of course, you do not have to go to the crossroads at midnight like I did. You do not. However, I wanted to do everything in the purest form. I wanted to do everything in the way that it was supposed to be done. And if I was supposed to go at midnight, then I was going to go at midnight. So I went to um, I went to the crossroads. I asked the things that I asked. I gave my offering, and then I came back home. I went back home. And when I tell you, shit started popping off, shit started popping the fuck off. This happened in 2017. Once 2018 hit, my then wife, her true colors started to come out. And it wasn't like these were things that I didn't already know was there. Like I had seen them, but I hadn't seen them in the manner that she was showing it to me. She had never showed herself to be this way to me. And I was just like, wow. Like I know you got some fucked up ways and you be saying some fucked up shit, but wow. Now, it's important for me to know also that I ended up going to a botanica. It was my first time ever going to a botanica. And when I walked in there, I fell in love. I was just like, oh my God, this is where I should have been all my life. And I had a connection with the woman in the botanica. And we just talked and talked and talked. And she, she made me she made me a bag of herbs or whatever to use to dress my candles with, told me about dressing my candles, gave me a candle because at the time I was, trying to still work things out with my then wife. And I was like, I just really want to be able to talk to her and communicate. She gave me a communication candle and I got some other candles. And then she gave me the little bag of herbs and I bought some other things as well. I lit that candle in that house and shit got real. It really showed me how she wanted to communicate with me, my wife at the time. It really opened my eyes to the fact that our communication was strained and that instead of talking with me and talking to me, she was talking at me and talking down to me as if I was less than her. And all of this stuff came to me as I would, walk past the candle. I would sit in front of the candle and watch the flame because I love fire. And all of this stuff came to me and I was just like, man, this is crazy how all this stuff is just happening. Even though I kept saying it was crazy, I kept listening to it because for me, I felt like none of this stuff is happening by chance. All this stuff is happening for a reason. And I asked for this. And I will share that one of the things that I did ask for when I went to the crossroads was, I'll say two, because it was four things that I asked for. I'll say two. I asked for clear communication with any and everybody in my life. And then I also asked that if there was anybody in my life, no matter who it was, and this was the strongest one that I said, because I was like, man, if this takes me away from my wife, how am I going to feel? But I was like, it is what it is. I said that if there was anybody in my life that did not mean me any good, and I needed to remove myself and my child, please have them reveal themselves so that I can leave, so that I can do what I need to do. Now, fast forward to going towards the end of 2018, and me and my wife finally separated officially. She had been saying it for years prior, talking about divorcing me and we need to separate and all this shit. It always came out of her mouth. And this time it came out of mine. And we separated. We were done. Um, and once that happened, I moved away. I went to go live somewhere else. Um, and things were definitely looking up for me. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it was challenging, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And then from there, I further deep dived into my spiritual journey and got even closer. And by this time now, because I realized how powerful Papa Legba was, now I have an altar. Now I have an altar. Now I am communicating with him. I'm talking to him on a weekly basis, sometimes a daily basis, because it just At the time, I was going through so much and I just needed someone to hear me. And we had just amazing conversations. I mean, I would say something and I would just be prompted to just not say anything and just listen. And I did. And I took all the messages and I was just like, I really want to be out of this situation. I'm ready to plant my roots. I'm ready to grow. I'm ready to go with the flow, just all these different things. So the second time I went to the crossroads was when I was living where I was living after I left my then wife. And I went to the crossroads again. And I pretty much was just like, whatever I'm supposed to do, I surrender to the process. And, wherever you want me to go, as far as what I'm supposed to be doing on my journey and where I'm supposed to be, just make sure I get there with no harm to none. Just make sure I get there. Make sure everything just lines up. And after I went to the crossroads, I want to say within like maybe I don't even think it might have been a month. Within a month, I had the money that I needed and arrangements made for me to move on from where I was at. And it was just amazing me because I didn't have that much to begin with. But when it was time for me to leave and to move on, everything was provided for me. And I was so super thankful to Papa Legba because I knew that he was a part of that process. And at this time, now, with me having my altar with Papa Legba, I also have created another altar. So, and these are for some people in my family. Um, so I know that everybody was having their hand in the pot when it came to, what I needed to do and getting me to where I needed to be. So then I get to where I am now. I made it to where I am now. And it was a rough start, but every single day things got better. I was still grieving. I was going through my dark night of the soul process, and everything was just hitting me all at once. But for whatever reason, I always remained happy. I always remained positive because even when I didn't have a lot, I knew that more was coming because I had seen it. I had already seen it. The only thing I didn't know was how long it was going to take. I had no idea how long things were going to take, but I knew that they were for me and that they were coming and that I needed to prepare myself. So once I got to where I am now, um, I went to the crossroads again. Now, let's see, this is now my third time going to the crossroads. Now, by this time, now this is when shit got real. Listen to this. I ended up being in this home and all the people that were living here, because it was just everybody here. It ended up being just me and my brother living in this house. At first it was me, my brother, my sister, my daughter, my mom, my mom's boyfriend at the time was now her husband. And we were all living under the same roof. And I was just like, I cannot do this. I need I need to get out of here because my whole plan and mission for coming here was just like, I'm gonna be able to save money, I'm gonna get a job, I'm gonna be able to, pretty much provide for myself. I'm gonna be able to do for myself all over again. And I was just like, okay, things just need to work out. I kept on with my altar work. Within a little bit of time, I went from having no car to having a car. It was random. It was so random I just one day got a direct deposit. I one day checked my account and I had a direct deposit for like, how much was that? I had a direct deposit for over $5,000 and I had no idea where that shit came from. No idea. And then when I did some when I did some research, I saw where it came from, but still in my head, with the situation of where it came from, I was like, I already got that money. So what the fuck? Because I was scared. I was like, am I going to have to pay this money back? But everything worked out. I was able to have my car. That was my goal. I was like, okay, when I get here, I want to get my car. I want to have a place to live. I was trying to find an apartment. I had found a place that was renting out an apartment And I went there to go look, and I was like, this neighborhood is sketchy as hell. I do not like it over here. I don't feel like it would be good for my kid. I don't feel like it would be good for me. But at the same time, I remain open as far as if it's supposed to happen, it's going to happen. And if it doesn't, it ain't supposed to, and I can't get upset about it. Because I wanted to be out on my own so bad that I was willing to sacrifice the fact that this place wasn't that good looking, but I'll take it. I'll take it. It is what it is. I'll make it work. And then once I save up some more money or whatever, I'll move on from here because I'm always just leveling up. The shit never worked out. And it didn't work out because my mom ended up moving out of this house. Her, my sister, and her boyfriend at the time ended up moving out and moving on. And it was just me, my daughter, and my brother. Now, once it was us in the house, everything was cool, everything was going copacetic. And then right next door, some people moved into this house that was right next door to me. And they were always like, we never had any problems. I never had any issues with these people. They never had any issues with me. But for whatever reason, I just had an uneasy feeling about them being right there. Like I just didn't, I don't know, I just didn't really care for them to really be right there. And with everything I was getting ready to do, I was just like, okay, I don't like the energy, so something needs to change. That's when I was prompted by Papa Legba to go to the crossroads. He told me to come to the crossroads, come see him. So I went to the crossroads. Now, one of the things that I said, and this is the most important shit ever. One of the things that I said when I went to the crossroads this time was I said that if there is anybody around me that does not mean me good, remove them with no harm to none. I don't want anything to happen to anybody, but remove them out of my life, remove them from around my energy. That was the one thing. So that night, this was, let's see, Sunday, midnight would be Monday. Midnight would be Monday morning. I went at midnight. The very next day, Tuesday, my daughter was getting ready to go to school. And then all of a sudden she was like, it's a lot of smoke. And I was like, what? And we look, and the house next door had caught on fire, burnt down. And it concerned me, not because I felt like, oh my gosh, their house is on fire and it's going to come over here. Nah, it was far enough away to where it wasn't going to affect us. But I was more so concerned because I knew that there were people in the house and I knew there were children in the house. So I was just like, I really hope that, with whatever's going on over there, that nobody is hurt. Nobody ended up being hurt. But the people who lived next door were no longer next door. And remember what I said. I asked that if there was anybody around me in my energy field that did not need to be around me, Papa remove them with no harm to none. And the next day, that house burned down. The people wasn't even there. I don't even think they was there 3 months. And that house burnt down. Now, when their house burnt down, um, I didn't immediately connect the dots at all. But I was just so giving. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm pretty sure they done lost everything. I'm a female. So I know that there's men that live over, or a guy that lives over there. And I know that there's young children or whatever. But I'm like, I just want to give them something. And immediately that morning, as this is all happening while my child is getting ready to get on the bus, like this happened that morning. It was still kind of dark outside and it was turning into daylight. The sun was rising and shit was just up in flames, bruh. But I managed to come inside and get like a box, and I managed to put some clothes and things in there. I knew it was younger children, so I went to go see if there were any uniforms that my daughter had, because there were. I actually just finished cleaning out her stuff, and there was a lot of stuff I was getting ready to throw away. But I was like, these people don't have anything. Everything is gone for them. I want to at least try to give them something. I think my brother was still here, and I was asking him, do you have anything? Because he's a guy. So I'm like, there's a guy over there. Do you have anything that you can put in this box so we can just give it to these people or whatever. And we put together a box real quick. And while they were trying to save whatever they could save, um, and stuff, I just went out there and I think it was a woman or a guy. I can't even fully remember right now. But I just gave him the box. I was like, here. I was like, I'm sorry. I wish I could give y'all more. And I said, I don't really have a lot of guy clothes, but I got some uniforms in here and, stuff like that for the kids or whatever. So, and they were very thankful. They were very thankful. But after that, that was it. They were gone. And then it took me a minute to actually connect the dots. But when I did, I was like, oh, shit. Papa is powerful. Papa is powerful. And I don't know if that was the trick or what. But again, he took the people away from me that didn't need to be around me, and nobody was hurt. Nobody had a scratch on them, a burn on them, nothing. They lost their things and they lost that place to live, but everybody was just fine. They were able to get themselves together, and they now live way up the street, way, way up the street away from me. I still see them sometimes, but they live up the street from me. They're not near me. And that house was never rebuilt. There's nothing there. It's just the bricks underneath to hold up the platform of the house, and that's it. And now there is a guy who's actually next door he bought the whole lot out and he turned it into he trains horses to sell, and that's what he does. So I have a horse next door. We got a horse next door, but it was barren for a long, long, long time. It was barren for a while. But yeah, that right there let me really know and understand how powerful Papa Legba was for sure. And I was like, he is to not be played with. And I already knew that he was powerful, but that right there let me know that he is not to be played with. And if you're gonna go to him, you best be damn sure you know what you asking for, and you best be damn sure you say the shit correctly and you say it right. Anytime I've ever went, hey kitty, anytime I've ever went to Papa Legba, um, I always made sure that whatever I was going to ask him for, I wrote it down. If I had to write it down a couple of times to get it right, to make sure that this is what I want to ask for, I always wrote it down. I just didn't go there blindly, except for this last time, which I'm going to get to. Let me close my door real quick because my cat came in. Okay, we back. So, yeah, like I said, except for this last time just recently, which we getting there, I'm getting there. That was the only time I've never really um wrote it down. No, I take it back. The last two times. The last two times. And I think it was just only because of the fact that I knew exactly what I wanted to say. I didn't have to write it down. Now, I went over it. I definitely went over it a couple of times and made sure this is what I wanted to ask for. I definitely went over it. But I didn't write it down. I just knew what I wanted. I knew what I needed. So, after that, still have good communication with Papa, doing my things at the altar. Everything was looking up for me in life. I had started to do, this is when I really started to do my YouTube stuff. And this was in like 2000 and, this was in 2019 when I did that. Yeah, this was 2019. Everything was looking good for me. Um, my channel was I could have had a poppin' channel in 2019 had I stuck with it, but I didn't stick with it. And I still kick myself in the ass about that a lot. But at the same time, I understand now that there was a lot of stuff that I needed to learn, and there were more things that I needed to go through before I could fully appreciate all the good things that were coming to me, because that shit was coming. Oh, it was coming. But I wouldn't have been able to really appreciate it in the manner that it needed to be appreciated. So I'm very thankful of where I am right now. Slow progress, but it is a process. It's definitely a process. So that was in 2019. In 2020, no, yeah, in 2020. I said 2000. Is that right, nigga? 2020? 2019, 2000? Yes. I think it's because we so used to saying 2020. But anywho, in 2020, I ended up um I ended up getting into a relationship with the person that I just recently got out of the relationship with. Um, but I ended up getting involved with this person. This was my fiance, my ex fiance, and it was for my human self. The relationship felt good for my human self, but for my soul was always uneasy with him. I was walking on eggshells. I was doing things in a way that I had told myself prior, once I did get back into something with somebody, this is how it's going to go. This is how I'm going to act. This is what they're going to do. This is what we're going to do. And I wasn't really doing any of that shit. I was allowing so many things to happen that should not have been allowed. But you live and you fucking learn. That's all I'll say about that. So things were going really bad for us. And I was to a place where I was like, you know what? As much as I feel like I love this person, I also feel that this person is no good for me. And I feel as if I'm not strong enough to get this person out of my life. I don't feel like I have the strength to just say this relationship is over because of my heart and because of, this person seeming to not really have a place to go or money to get to where they needed to go. It was a lot. And I went to Papa because my altar had always remained. And it was so messed up because I know now that Papa was upset with me. He was very upset with me. He was letting all kinds of things happen. Like the last thing that he allowed to happen was at the crossroads, was literally at a railroad track. And he was like, if you don't see this shit, you finna be in a world of trouble. And basically what happened was we were going over a railroad track. And for whatever reason, my ex-fiance, he was driving. We were on the way pretty much taking him to work, but he was driving and I was going to drive the car back home. And people were cutting grass near the railroad track, the government people, whatever. They were cutting the grass. And because the guy's truck was parked near the railroad and he was cutting grass, they had the arm of the railroad down on one side. Now you can still go around to go through or whatever. There's no train coming. He just had the arm down on that side so that people would be aware that, hey, somebody's over here doing some shit. Pay attention. Don't hit this person. Right? We were going. He's driving. Now, way before we even got up on the railroad track, the first thing came out of my mouth, and this is exactly the tone that I had. I said, oh no, oh no. And his response, my ex fiance's response was, I see it, I see it. And that was it. And I was like, okay. And my oh no was in reference to the fact that the arm was down on the railroad track. He said he saw it. I said, okay. As we were getting closer and closer to the railroad track, getting ready to go over the tracks, he sped the fuck up. And all I was saying was, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And he slammed into that fucking arm and broke that bitch off. Not only did he break that shit off, my windshield cracked. My windshield wiper fucking flew off. There's a dent on the side of my truck. On the side of my truck. I'm talking about the windshield it didn't shatter or anything. Of course, I still have a windshield. But I had like just got my fucking windshield fixed. And now I have this fucking crack, like golf ball size crack. And it looks like a spider. It's like a golf ball size and these fucking things. But it's only on the passenger side. And that shit was right where my fucking head was. Literally. If we were in a fucking drop top or a doom buggy or whatever the fuck, whatever, I would have died. I would have been taken the fuck out. And I understand that that was Papa Legba getting my attention and trying to let me know, if you don't deal with this shit, it's about to get bad. It's about to be real bad. Wake up. So moving backwards from that situation, we were having some issues in our relationship, and I was just like, I don't know what's going on, but I feel like I kept having this feeling like, okay, I need to go back to Papa Legba. I need to go to the crossroads. But I knew that once I did this, there was no going back. There was no, oh, I didn't mean to say that type shit. It was none of that. it was just going to be on and popping. I let my fiance know. I said, look, I've been talking to you and talking to you about getting your shit together, and I can't talk no more. So I'm getting ready to go do something. And all I want you to know is usually when I go do what I'm going to do, and I told him, I said, I'm going to the crossroads and I'm going to talk to Papa Legba. Once I get ready to do what I'm about to do, usually when I do this, if things are not right around me, things will change. And I was like, nothing will happen to you, but things will definitely change. And I want you to know that. So you might want to get your shit together. So I said that to him, and he was just like, of course he don't believe in anything. He always called my altars and all my stuff just junk, which was another thing that pissed me off a lot, because I was like, you have your shit that you like, I have my shit that I like. Whatever abundance of shit that you have, even though I don't understand it, I don't call it junk. But he would always say that my stuff was junk, or I have unnecessary shit in the house, because he didn't understand it. He didn't want to understand it. And with whatever is inside of him, festering inside of him, it wasn't going to let his ass understand it anyway. So I went to the crossroads and I said that same thing that I said when it came to my ex-wife. I said, Papa, I know what I'm about to say, and I mean every word of it. If there is anybody around me, and I don't care who it is, if there is anybody around me who does not mean me any good, with no harm to none, I need your help in having my strength. I reworded it. I didn't want Papa to remove them. I said, I need your help in having the strength and the courage to remove them myself. I don't want you to do it. With no harm to none, I need the strength and the courage to do it myself. And that was one of the things that was pretty much that was the most important thing that I said. Other than the other things, they're all important, but that one was big, because I knew with what I was saying, even though I love this person, I have kids with this person, this feels like this is my person. This is my fiance. This is who I'm going to marry. I feel like this is the person I'm going to be with for the rest of my life. This is the love of my life. However, if this person ain't supposed to be here, this person ain't supposed to be here. And make sure I have the discernment, make sure I have the courage, make sure I have the strength to do what the hell I need to do. And I left it at that. This happened in, I want to say I did that in 2022. I did that in 2022. And after I did that, come 2023, my ex-fiance and the beast, the monster that lived inside of him, was revealed to me. And it was revealed to me in a way that, just like I asked Papa, it was a situation that I was put in where I needed to have the strength and the courage to let go myself, to remove this person from my life. And immediately, without a shadow of a doubt, I let his ass go. Now, if you want to know that story, you're going to have to go all the way down in my videos and find the video entitled something about how I found out about my fiance trying to groom my daughter. Now I'm going to get ready to do another video, a more in-depth video. It's a part of the cancer series that I have. I talk about the 3 cancers that I dated. He was the 3rd cancer that I ended up being with. I have yet to make that video, but I'm ready to make it now. So stay tuned for that as well. Watch that as well. But yeah, if you want to know what happened, that is the backstory to pretty much what happened. And I got rid of his ass on his birthday. I was in the process, when I tell you, right before all this shit happened, I was in the process just like with my fucking ex-wife. Same situation. I was in the process of saying, we're going to make this work. Everything is going to get better. Things might be a little rocky right now, but I see signs of things being able to get better, but it wasn't. That shit was over and done with. It was a karmic relationship. It was a karmic relationship, and I had to let the fuck go. And all these things were happening. I was getting ready to do it with him. It was like, okay, I was like, you know what? He been talking about getting married since he got here, since he, pretty much came back into my life because we knew each other from way back when. We knew each other like 10, 11 years prior. And I was like, we got two kids now. I'm in the process of trying to figure things out for us to get our own place. Let's just get married. Like we were talking about taking a trip to his home state where he was from and everything. And I was just like, you know what? I'm ready. This is the person I want to be with. I'm not looking at nobody else. I'm not even thinking. This is the first time in my life that I had tunnel vision on the person that I was with. And I was like, I'm not looking at nobody else. This is who I want. This is everything that I want, minus the other shit that needed work on. This is who I want. I was in the process of getting ready to do all that. And Papa shut that shit down. He said, oh no. And he brought me to a point where, right when I thought all this great shit was going to happen and I had all this stuff in mind to just do and get it done, that was when the test came. Right when you think you about to do all this great shit, let's see if you really gonna do what you said you was gonna do, if you're gonna be strong enough, or are you gonna be weak and try to take this person back and, oh, they'll change and they won't do it again and all of that shit. We know how you feel about them, but are you gonna give them up? And it hurt like hell. It hurt so much, but I knew that it needed to be done. And there was nothing that was going to change this person. They had already revealed themselves to me. They had already revealed the monster to me. And this even further revealed the intentions of the monster. And I was like, I got to get him. I got to get him up out of here. And that's exactly what I did. So I just recently went to Papa Legba again. And we had our talks. And I'm not even going to, because now with the situation that I just did, everything is in the works. And if you continue on to follow me and, subscribe to my channel, you will be in the know of everything that's happening, because everything that is getting ready to happen to me, which is stuff that I already saw, is going to unfold on this channel. And I'm going to allow it to unfold on this channel because I want people to know the goodness that is Papa Legba. I want people to know that our spirituality is not evil. Of course, if you ain't doing the shit that you're supposed to do, if you're not living the way that you're supposed to be living, shit's not going to work out for you. And it could seem like it's evil. It could seem like it's working against you, but that's because you want people to do the work for you and you're not willing to do the work for yourself. You have to do the work for yourself as well. And I know that now. I mean, I knew that before, but I really know that shit now. I really, really know that. And I'm just so thankful that I went through everything that I went through to get to the place where I am right now. When I look back on everything meaning from the beginning of me being called by Papa Legba, when I look at everything from that point moving forward, yes, I've went through a lot of shit since then. A lot of shit that if I had the choice, I wouldn't have went through that shit. If I literally had the choice, I definitely wouldn't have went through that stuff. But I'm so happy that it happened. I'm so thankful. I am so grateful. And I am just ready to see how this shit is going to play out. Matter of fact, I'm lying. I already seen how this shit going to play out. I already know. I am now ready for everything to just play out. I'm ready. And it's going to happen. So, yes, that is the goodness that is Papa Legba. And again, if you are here watching this, then I feel as if Papa Legba is using me to call out to you. And I understand that you may be afraid, because I was. But I want you to know that there is nothing to be afraid of. It really isn't. The same way people look at God and Jesus and all that stuff, with religion, is the same way you need to look at your spirituality. If you're tapping into your spirituality, If you right now are on your journey and you are feeling lost, and this video comes across and you are watching it and you're here right now with me in this moment, baby, it's time. He calling on you. It's time. So what you gonna do? You gonna take the red pill or the blue pill? Are you gonna open your mind, or you gonna go back to the way things were? You already know the information, and once you know, you know. And I ain't trying to turn you out. I'm trying to turn you on to some game. So, with all of that being said, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for showing up for yourself. I love you. Take care of yourself. Drink your water and mind your goddamn business. I fucking love you, bruh.